It's this beautiful square with a cross of puff stitches in the middle. On this video, I'm going to teach you how to do the Italian square. I'm going to be using a 4mm hook and some acrylic yarn size 4. All right, so we're going to start with a slip knot, and we're going to start with a base ring. For a base ring, you want to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to do a slip stitch into the very first chain that we just made. So insert your hook into that chain, grab the yarn and pull through, and complete your slip stitch. Now we're going to move on to row 1. We're going to be working into the center of this base ring. So if you pull the chains, you'll see that there's a hole in the middle. Into this hole is where we're going to be working. So we're going to chain 3 to start row 1. This counts as a double crochet, by the way. And now we're going to do 11 double crochets into this ring. So we found the middle, and into it, we're going to do 11 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3. So do 11, and I'll see you when you're done that. Okay, I just finished my 11th double crochet. So to finish this row, you just want to do a slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 at the beginning of the row. So you find that third chain and do a slip stitch. And this here is the end of row 1. For row 2, we're going to chain 3. And now we're going to work 3 half double crochets together into the same space as the chain 3. So you're going to yarn over, go into this same spot, grab the yarn and pull up a loop. Yarn over into the same spot, grab the yarn and pull up a loop. That's 2. Yarn over into the same spot, grab the yarn and pull up a loop. That's 3. Yarn over, pull through all of the loops in your hook. And that's a 3 half double crochet together, which all of this together counts as a puff stitch. And now we're going to start the row repeat. You're going to chain 1, and into the next stitch, we're going to work a puff stitch. So for a puff stitch, you're going to yarn over, and then basically go on top of the stitch that you have to go into, grab the yarn and pull through, pull up a loop. We're going to do this a total of 4 times. That was the first one. Yarn over, grab the yarn and pull through, 2. Yarn over, insert hook, grab the yarn, pull through, 3. Yarn over, insert hook, grab the yarn, pull through, 4. Yarn over, pull through all of the loops. And that is your first puff stitch. Continuing the row repeat, we're going to chain 1, and into the next stitch, do a puff stitch. So another puff stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, a total of 4 times. So this is 2, 3, 4. Yarn over, pull through all of the loops. And now to continue the row repeat, we are going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And to finish off the row repeat, we're going to do a puff stitch into the very next stitch. So yarn over, go into the next stitch with a puff stitch. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that ends the row repeat. We're going to do this one more time together. At the beginning of the row repeat, we start with a chain 1 and a puff stitch into the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Continuing the row repeat, chain 1, puff stitch into the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over, pull through all the loops. Now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to do a puff stitch into the next stitch to complete the row repeat. Yarn over, pull through all the loops. And that ends the row repeat. I'm going to repeat it verbally now. You're going to now do a chain 1, puff stitch, chain 1, puff stitch, then a chain 5, and then another puff stitch into the next stitch. That's going to give you those corners. So I'm going to do that until I'm going to do the next corner, and then I'll see you when I'm done that. Okay, so I just finished my next corner. And to finish this off, I basically want 3 puff stitch on this side as well, and the chain 5. So to finish off row 2, we're going to chain 1 and then do a puff stitch into the next stitch. Then you chain 1 and do your final puff stitch into the last stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now to finish off this row, we're going to do a chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to connect it on top of the first puff stitch of the row. So on top of the puff stitch, you insert your hook and you do a slip stitch. And this here is the end of row 2. For row 3, we're going to do a slip stitch into the next space. So we want to bring our hook in between the puff stitches and go into the space and do a slip stitch. We're going to start from this spot now. So now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And into the same space that you're currently in, do 3 half double crochets together. So yarn over, insert a hook, grab the yarn and pull up 3 times. So that was 1, 2, 3, and then pull through all loops, which counts as a puff stitch. All of this together counts as your first puff stitch. Now we're going to start the row repeat. You're going to chain 1 and then do a puff stitch in between the next 2 puff stitches. So into the next space, insert your hook and do a puff stitch. Okay, continuing the row repeat, we're going to chain 2. And now we're going to do 5 double crochets into the corner. So around the chain 5 space, around it, we're going to do 5 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to work a puff stitch into the next space. So in between the 2 puff stitches below, in between there, we're going to work a puff stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that finishes the row repeat. So I'm going to do it again with you one more time. The row repeat for this row starts at a chain 1 and then a puff stitch in between the next 2 puff stitches from the previous row. A puff stitch there. Now we chain 2 and do 5 double crochets around the chain 5 of the corner. So around there, 5 double crochets. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we chain 2. And now we're going to do a puff stitch into the next space, in between the next 2 puff stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you pull through all the loops. And that ends the row repeat. So we're going to do this all the way around, and I'll see you when I'm done. Basically, I think you're going to do it 2 more times to get all the way around. Okay, so I've come around the corner, and I just want to show you here that I've just done my last 5 double crochets into the last corner. I'm going to chain 2 and then finish this off by slip stitching to the top of the first puff stitch of this row. So this is my first puff stitch, and on top of it, I'm going to insert my hook and slip stitch. So this here is the end of row 3. For row 4, we're going to do a slip stitch into the next space. So into this space here, we're going to do a slip stitch, and we're going to start from here. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then work 3 half double crochets together into that same spot. So that's 1, 2, and 3. and then you pull through all the loops. And now we're going to start the row repeat. By the way, this counts as a puff stitch as the previous rows. So for the row repeat, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And now into this corner, we're going to work the following. So we're skipping the puff stitch and the chain 2, I believe it is. And so we're going to work this corner. You're going to do a double crochet on top of the first double crochet. Then a chain 1. Now a double crochet on top of the next double crochet. And a chain 1. Now into this third double crochet of the corner, we're going to do the following. You're going to do a double crochet, a chain 1, into the same double crochet, another double crochet, a chain 1, and into the same double crochet, 1/3 and final double crochet. So this will help you with your corner there. As you can see, into the third double crochet of the previous row, you have double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Now we continue on. We're going to do a chain 1, and into the next double crochet, a double crochet, chain 1, and into the final double crochet, a double crochet. Now we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to work a puff stitch into the next space. So into the space between the puff stitches of the previous row, into there, a puff stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you pull through all the loops. And that ends the row repeat. So I'll verbalize it now. We are going to start with a chain 3, and then we're going to work that corner onto the double crochets of the previous row. And then you chain 3 and do a puff stitch in between the next puff stitches. So let's just do it together. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Work the corner. So for a corner, you want to do a double crochet on top of the first double crochet, a chain 1. Next double crochet, a double crochet on top of it, a chain 1. Now we're at the third double crochet, so into there you want to do double crochet, chain 1, same stitch, double crochet, chain 1, same stitch, double crochet. For your corner, now we're going to do a chain 1, into the next double crochet, a double crochet, chain 1, and into the final double crochet, a double crochet. Continuing the row repeat, we chain 3 and do a puff stitch between the puff stitches of the previous row. So in between that, a puff stitch. This is my 4th. Grab the yarn, pull through, and that ends the row repeat. So we want to do that all the way around. I'll do that and I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, so I just finished my last corner here, doing those double crochets and chain 1s in between. And so now I'm going to do my final chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to slip stitch on top of that first puff stitch of this row. So on top of the puff stitch, do a slip stitch. And this here is the end of row 4. Now we're going to do row 5 as well to kind of clean up the edges. So for row 5, we're going to chain 1 and do a single crochet into each of the stitches of the row. So we're going to start with this puff stitch into the same space, a single crochet. So you know how you have chains and then double crochets and puff stitches. You want to make sure you do a single crochet on top or into each of the stitches. So here we have 3 chains, so we're going to do 3 single crochets. That's 1, 2, and 3. Then we have the double crochet, so we do a single crochet on top of it. Then we have a chain 1, so you do a single crochet into the chain space, then double crochet, then into the chain space, double crochet, or sorry, this is, I went into the wrong spot there. Right now I'm in the chain space, So the next one is a double crochet. So I got to go into the double crochet. And now what I want to show you here at the corner is that, you know, the one that you did 3 double crochets into 1 stitch, into the middle double crochet of that, you're going to do 3 single crochets. So we're almost there. We have 1 chain 1 to go into. And now we're at this center double crochet of the corner. So into this one, we're going to do 3 single crochets into the same spot. That's 1, 2, and 3. And so there you have it. Now we are at the other side, and you can continue by doing a single crochet into the chain spaces and into the stitches. And do this all the way around, and I'll see you when I'm done. Once you've done a single crochet all the way around, it's going to look like this. And I would highly recommend blocking it because without it, it kind of looks wonky on the edges, you can see. But if you block it with some pins and put a little heat on it, you can straighten out the sides. How crazy beautiful is this? It's this like cross of puff stitches in the middle, and then around it, it's a combination of double crochets and chain spaces. It is so pretty. I like this one so much. It'd make for a beautiful blanket if you make a bunch of these and kind of sew them together. Absolutely gorgeous. Hey, while you're at it, why don't you just subscribe to my channel? Just do it. Just do it.